Every single business runs on data, right? But what happens when that data is just plain wrong? Well, today we're going to dive into a problem that honestly quietly sabotages companies from the inside out. We're talking about dirty data. Okay, take a good look at this number, $15 million. And no, that's not revenue, it's not profit, that is a loss. And look, this staggering cost, it isn't just about the money. Think about it. It's a huge drain on productivity when your team is chasing down bad leads. It's a total breakdown in communication, and it's basically a black hole for all those marketing dollars you're spending on campaigns that, well, they never even reach the right person. So let's really get into it. Let's break down the sheer scale of this problem. Because, understanding the financial stakes, that's really the first step to grasping the true full impact here. I love this metaphor because it just nails it. Dirty data isn't just, one bad entry in a spreadsheet. It's like a contagion. It can spoil your entire strategy, everything from your basic sales outreach all the way up to those big high-level decisions. And let's be clear, this is not some niche issue we're talking about. Almost 3/4 of organizations, they know they have a data problem. They get that failing to manage their data puts them at a huge financial and competitive disadvantage. So the real question is, what's actually being done about it? Okay, so before we can even think about fixing it, we've got to define it, right? What exactly is dirty data anyway? And this goes way, way beyond a few simple typos. Dirty data is basically flawed information that actively gets in the way of critical stuff. Things like lead scoring, personalization, and prospecting. It just creates all these inefficiencies and, at the end of the day, it really harms a company's reputation. I know the whole problem can feel kinda overwhelming, so let's break it down. We can actually group dirty data into 7 pretty distinct categories, and that makes it all so much more manageable. All right, first up, we've got the most common offender, duplicate data. Just imagine this for a second. Your absolute top prospect gets the same automated email 3 times in one day, all from 3 different reps. Ugh, that doesn't just look unprofessional, right? It can instantly kill a potential deal. It's a total waste of your team's effort, and it creates a really, really bad customer experience. Next on the list is insecure data. And honestly, in our age of data privacy, this one is a ticking time bomb. If your data doesn't comply with regulations like GDPR, you're not just risking your customers' trust, you're facing some massive legal and financial penalties. And when I say massive, I mean it. The scale of these penalties is absolutely astronomical. Just look at the fines that have been slapped on major tech companies. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. It just goes to show you how seriously regulators are taking data security and why you have to too. Okay, I really love this analogy. Making big decisions based on outdated data, it's literally like driving blind. I mean, if a prospect has changed jobs but your CRM is still stuck in the past, you end up sending the right message to the wrong person at the wrong time. You're basically driving your sales efforts right off a cliff. Then there's incomplete data, which is just a direct pipeline to lost revenue. It's simple, really. If you're missing a key piece of information, like an email or a phone number or the company name, you just can't act. These kinds of knowledge gaps are a huge, huge barrier to success for any sales team. Now, inaccurate data, this might be the most dangerous type of all. Why? Because it looks correct. So it gets plugged into reports, it informs your strategy, but it's fundamentally wrong. Think about a fake phone number or an incorrect job title. This is exactly the kind of data that leads businesses down the wrong path, making really poor decisions. Number 6 on our list is inconsistent data. Is someone a chief marketing officer or are they a CMO? To you and me, that's the same thing, but to a database, those can be 2 totally different entries. And this kind of inconsistency just corrupts your analytics and makes it pretty much impossible to get a clear, accurate picture of your audience. And finally, our 7th type is hoarded data. This comes from that belief that more is always better, but with data, that's just not true. Keeping every single bit of information you've ever collected, well, that increases your costs. It makes it way harder for your teams to find what they actually need, and it buries those genuinely valuable insights under a mountain of useless noise. Okay, so we've definitely laid out the problem, right? The good news is there's a clear path to fixing it. So let's switch gears and talk about the solution. For the longest time, companies just relied on manual data cleaning. But let's be real, that approach is slow, it's full of human error, and it just can't scale. In today's world,
automation is really the only viable strategy. It's fast, it's accurate, and it can actually handle the massive volume of data that modern businesses are generating every single day.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it pretty much boils down to this four-step framework. First, you've got to standardize your data entry. That means creating uniform rules and formats to stop errors from even happening in the first place. Second, you purge the outdated stuff. Regularly get rid of old contacts and useless information that's just cluttering up the system. Third, merge those duplicates. Combine all those fragmented records to create a single, reliable source of truth. And finally, and this is the most crucial step, you automate the entire process so you can maintain that cleanliness over time.
All right, let's bring this all home. Why should you go through all this effort? What's the ultimate payoff here? At the end of the day, cleaning your data isn't just a defensive move to avoid that big, scary $15 million loss. It's an offensive strategy. It's how you win. High-quality data, that's the engine of a modern business. It powers smarter insights, it leads to better decisions, and it gives you a seriously powerful competitive advantage. So I'll leave you with this one last thought. Every single piece of data in your system, it's part of a bigger story about your customers and your business. The question you really need to ask yourself is this: is that story telling you the truth, or is it leading you completely astray?